I started losing my hair in my early 20s. By the time I was about 30, I was pretty bald.
In the pattern of baldness, there's only certain areas that become bald. If your family has baldness, the likelihood is that you're also going to have it.
I'd look in the mirror and say, you know, I've lost my hair. It would be nice to do something about it.
It's arguably the most thought about, fretted over, and played with part of your appearance, your hair. You can love it or hate it, but you can't ignore it. It's right out there for you and everybody else to see. And that can cause a lot of anxiety if what you're seeing is less and less hair every day. In fact, 55 million Americans are experiencing some degree of hair loss, but not all of them are accepting their fate. You may be programmed for baldness at birth, but as John Stossel reports, there are ways to fool Mother Nature.
There are people who celebrate baldness. The Bald-Headed Men of America Association says we real men don't waste our hormones on silly things like growing hair.
We do not have any room for drugs, rugs, or plugs.
It's a great attitude. And most people who lose hair just live with it. But increasingly, some people are saying, I don't want to live with it. I have to do something about it. Dave Deeks and Mike Neely of New Jersey are actors who about 3 years ago got hair pieces. Now they wear them every day, but on this night, at our request, they took them off to see how they do in a singles bar without their extra hair. We watched with a hidden camera. That's why it's in black and white. They tried talking to this woman. She wasn't interested, nor were others they talked to. Now, were they reacting to the men's hairlines or something else? Mike and Dave were so self-conscious without their extra hair, they could hardly look a woman in the eye.
Tonight, you were really uncomfortable without your hair.
Uncomfortable isn't the word, really. I was pretty much mortified without it.
You know, I feel like when people look at me without hair, it's like I don't even get a second glance. It's like the packaging's not there. I'm a great guy inside, but, you know.
This is the woman who sold them their hair pieces, or actually hair replacements is what we're supposed to call them. Mike's is glued on, bonded, we're supposed to say, and once it's bonded, it stays on for 2 months. Dave's is clipped on. Both the hair replacements cost almost $2,000, though you can buy non-customized versions for $400.
You couldn't wait to get back here and have her put this back on you.
Yeah.
Why? It's just fake hair.
I didn't even realize that the things that I had lost when I lost my hair, I didn't realize that I lost a lot of my ambition, a lot of my self-esteem, a lot of confidence. Those were things I didn't realize I'd lost.
And this is really going to change your attitude when you go back to the club?
I'm not going to be afraid to approach anyone.
Just
I'm not going to be afraid
right
I can just go up to somebody and not worry about this and just concentrate on making contact with somebody.
Sure enough, back in the bars, it was as if they were different people. They stood taller, looked more cheerful, and they talked to plenty of women. By the way, we're only showing you people who later said they didn't mind being taped by the hidden camera. Here, a total stranger came up to Dave and introduced herself to him. Then her friend comes up and puts her arm around him. Later, he tells the first woman he's wearing a hairpiece. She doesn't believe it, even after she feels it. So he takes it off. She's fairly stunned by that. And when he asks her, if I hadn't been wearing the hairpiece, would you have approached me? She says, probably not. If losing hair is traumatic for men, it's worse for women.
It's humiliating. It's not supposed to happen to women. It's socially acceptable for a man, not for a woman. You know, this is your crown. Your hair is supposed to be your crown.
Felicia Yeomans was a teenager when her hair started to thin, so she got a hairpiece.
I can't go anywhere without it. I will not go anywhere without it. You have to realize that it devastated me so much that I was suicidal at one point because of it. That may be hard for you to believe.
Loss? Why is it so important?
My hair was everything to me, everything.
Leon Kazminski doesn't believe bald is beautiful. He's about to undergo a 3-hour hair transplant operation.
There you go. Okay, now we're going to draw a line on this
one day, if I will have some possibilities, I will go and try hair transplant. That time, and it was in 94, 95, hair transplant wasn't as good as today from a point of treatments. And of course, I didn't want to take a risk to have hair transplant, which hair would be sticking from all over, and it's very noticeable. Today, what we see, results are much better, and I'm happy and willing to go for it.
We have to hold the hair up, so we're going to use a tape to lift the hair up in the back here.
I cannot formulate exactly why, but this is something from inside. When you talk to people, and sometimes you notice then they look up at your hair, and it feels not very nice. You're not 100%, in other words. At the same time, yes, I do realize after 45 years old, we all go through it. Some people can take it easier, some people have problems, and I'm one of them, I guess.
And we're going to put some local anesthetic into this area.
By the age of 50, half of men have some hair loss, and by 65, nearly 2/3 of men are balding.
I also believe in Dr. Larry Fremont because I saw some sample of people before and after, and I see that he's doing amazing work, and also technique today, it's a little different. With all their micrographs, it's not that noticeable as it used to be before. Before you see right away hair transplant. Why did you do it?
You see the 3 blades, and they're separated 3.5 millimeters apart. And we're just going to sink this blade in here.
Scientists now know that certain roots on the scalp are genetically predisposed to be sensitive to a specific hormone. Dihydrotestosterone is a byproduct of testosterone. On average, most hairs stick around for 5 years. But with the sensitive follicles, the growing phase shortens to a matter of months. The hairs fall out faster than they can regrow.
You can see the angle, the direction of the hair is in the same direction that his existing hair is.
When I started to lose my hair, when I look at the mirror, when I brush my hair, and I saw and I brush all my hair, it felt so terrible that the end of the world.
Here we have the little openings, and we just insert the follicle into the opening. If they're losing their hair and they've lost their self-esteem and they're hiding under a hat or they're using a comb over, this takes away, and now when they have their own hair back, they're more outgoing. They take their hat off. They don't use the hair to comb over anymore, and they're much more outgoing. My patient, Leon Kosminski, who's a producer and a director, who had his hair transplant a little over a year ago, is in his studio. I came by today to see how everything is going. Leon, you look terrific. What do people say about you?
Thank you, Dr. Fremont, for dropping by. Yes, it has made a huge difference in my life. Even my dog doesn't recognize me anymore, and I don't have to wear a hat in the winter to protect my head from the cold. But generally saying, I feel much more energetic, much more youthful, and very confident.
Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us, Leon. As you can see, it's a very simple procedure. Why don't you go for it? I think that the main thing is the youthful image that hair can provide. And it doesn't have to be a lot of hair. What is good for a person who's 20 may not be the same as for a person who's 50. You can accept a little bit more thinness when you're 50. So I think that the front line of a person is what is going to balance their face. Remember, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth are the central position of the face. And the face is lined by your side, your jaw, and the hairline. If the hairline shifts back, the proportions then get changed so that the eyes, the nose, and the front drop down because you have more space on the upper side. If you become very bald over a period of time, Your actual face is in the lower portion of that massive area of white skin. Now, the eye-to-eye contact is the important thing when you're in a social situation or you're in a business situation. There's a certain amount of trust. You know, the eyes are the window to your soul. So you must keep eye-to-eye contact with the person, and you only have 3 minutes to make your statement. If that eye of that person who's observing you is drifting to the massive area of skin above it, you lose what you're trying to attempt to achieve in that first 3 minutes. If you put a hairline on, you balance the face again. Everything's back in proportion, so your eyes can fix on each other, and that's what you want to achieve.
Father's side of the family is Lebanese, and my mother's is Italian. Two very hairy backgrounds, if you will, and I'm living proof of it. I've got the Italian side and the Lebanese side, and this is what it looks like combined right here. I've got hair all over my body, except for where I really want it, on the top of my head. I've been DJing in the clubs for 3 years now. Right now, the club that I'm DJing at in Markham, Club Inferno, mainly the crowd is college students. I hope that the transplant will give me a little more self-confidence. I'd like to be a little more comfortable publicly. Being in an environment at that nightclub and not having as much self-confidence as I wish I did have probably does play a role in this hair transplant. You know, I'm lucky enough that I'm engaged to be married, and I have found someone who loves me for who I am. But for some absurd reason that doesn't help me. The girls always love the DJs, right? I don't know why, and thank God for that they do, but I just feel more comfortable looking the part that I'm playing, right? Right now I'm living with my fiancée, Michelle. I met her back in 1998 at a bar. I knew from about a month in that I wanted to marry her. And I think she knew that too, that she wanted to marry me. It's amazing. She's my true best friend, and we're getting married. This is good.
I think you just have to, yeah, so right now it's wedding planning. A lot of that is taking up quite a bit of our time, but hopefully we'll get back to normal in a few months. He told me he was getting a second procedure. I mean, I'd already supported him as far as going through the first one. And I thought, why do you want to go through that again?
The hair transplant is about, I would say, 90% because of this wedding, and because your wedding photos are one of the biggest things that you spend money on. And, you know, they're the thing you'll always pull out at parties and show people this was what we looked like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and I want to look good, you know. My expectations for my second surgery that I didn't get from the first are to have more of my head worked on and covered with healthy hair.
How you been?
I've been well. Good. Been well, yeah. I'm pretty pleased about the first round of transplants. So what are you going to be doing in my second surgery?
As we discussed, we are going to improve your hairline by putting more hair and by increasing density, because you know you're still in a losing process because you're still young. So later on, if you need more, you have to come back. This time we are going to work in the front, so
great.
It's going to be perfect for you.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay, have a seat, yeah.
Thanks.
Let me just protect your shirt.
Thank you.
You're good?
Yeah, pretty good.
Preparing the area for new hair. When we're transplanting hair, grafts look like with a white skin, with a fat tissue, and with the roots in it. So after I put them in, there is white skin sits on the top, and eventually it's going to dry out and fall out with the shaft on the top, but roots are deep inside.
Hey, Mom and Dad, it's your boy. I'm becoming more beautiful as we speak. It's 20 after 1, and I think we're going to be done about 2:30 today. So far, so good. I'm feeling fine. I'll see you soon. Love you. Bye.
Hi, Mama.
Hi, hon. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
You feel all right? I'd probably worse for wear than you after that drive.
Oh, really? Hi,
Your mom's in love with the 401.